Hello. Hi Flosstube, it's Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher. Today is February 19th and it's time for a Flosstube. I'm sorely behind. I decided to do some other things. I destashed some fabric one weekend, so I had a big fabric sale. I don't know if I've sold bags since I last did a video. I stitched a lot. We're sort of working on plans for house building next year, and I can think of 1,000 excuses, but honestly, sometimes I just prefer to do videos when I'm inspired to do them. So today is the day, and I'm glad you're here. I want to show you a few things I've been working on, and in the last video, I showed you some organizational things going on in my craft room. I did sort of a purge, which felt great, which led to the fabric destash sale last weekend. And I completed my linen bureau project as far as it's going to be now. This is a piece of furniture I bought off a Facebook Marketplace for like 50 bucks. I picked it up, I hauled it. It was a project piece for that lady. It's still a project piece. It needs to be painted or stripped or whatever you're going to do. Probably just paint this one. But I don't want to do that until I move and get into my new house, because if you have to move a painted piece of furniture, I mean, you don't want it all dinged up and have to repaint the thing when you get to where you're going. So I left it the way it is. I did put some paper in the bottom of a shelf. Thank you for the viewer who recommended that last time. I had the same thought, although I don't know that I used any kind of an archival paper, so it's a temporary solution. Still, I love the way it looks. It feels very, I don't know, romantic almost. I feel like I should have a lavender sash in there and all that. But I'm going to go ahead and show you what this looks like now that I have filled it with my treasures, and I will insert a video clip right here. Okay, so this is the size of the little linen chest that I bought. I call it a linen chest, but it's sort of a dresser, and it's going to be refurbished when I get to where I'm going. I do have kind of a fun box with my Weeks Dye Works threads that I can use for wool applique that I bought from Farm Girl. The top drawer is, I put some laces in here that I have so that they're safe. I have little pieces of linens at the top here, and I have my high count linens, my 56 and 52 and 46. So that's on the top box. Oh, and here, I'll show you. That's what my paper is. Isn't that adorable? I love that. Hello, show please. The next drawer is my 28 and 32 count linens. Easy to get to. I have some Ann cloth. I bought these off a Stash and Load. I have plans for those, but those fit nicely in there. After destashing my brighter fabrics, I'm left with these. As many as I destashed, I kept, so I'm in good shape for that. No need to buy more. My 40 count, which is my go-to favorite, is in a big drawer below here. Love the way it's easy to get in and kind of look at all the things that I can shop for in my stash. And then the bottom drawer are wool applique kits, and these are some. I have some more stashed in my banking cabinets in my main craft area. So this is a review of how the bureau stuffing project went. Yeah, I love it. I just want to go in and open it up and pull the drawers open and kind of look at my treasure and put them back. But, who has time for that? Nobody. I will say that one of the best parts of this was finding all my wool applique kits and matching. I had some kits that weren't with patterns and patterns that weren't with kits, and it was a little bit of like a kid's game of concentration where you have to flip a card over and then you have to flip another one and match it. So I finally, through the process of elimination, got everything matched up. And I'm inspired to start some of those, and they go pretty quickly. So I will probably integrate some of that into my stitching rotation, which means I'm going to get like 3 hours of sleep instead of 6 a night. I'm going to show you some of my we'll applique kits in a little bit too. But first I want to show you my cross stitch whips. I have one finish. I've been pretty, I don't want to say monogamous, but I haven't hopped around between my projects. And in my prior videos, I showed 10 projects that I'm working on January, February, March, April. Yeah, I think it goes through April. And 5 of them were blondes and 5 of them are brunettes. And that just means 5 are lighter colored palettes, 5 are darker. I think 1 I'm going to restart. I've been thinking about it for a while now, and I think I am going to restart it, but it's not anything I'm going to work on right away. And 1 of them I finished in the end of December. The other one I finished since the last video, and that is Frisian Sampler number 1 by Modern Folk Embroidery. This, my understanding is this one, Jacob might be reworking part of it. It's not in his site currently, but it will be, is my understanding. Now, I haven't talked with Jacob. I don't have him on speed dial. He doesn't know who I am, I don't think, except sometimes I tag him on some of my finishes. So this one, look for it in the future. I was quite a ways on it last time, but I'm fully done now, and I love this. This is on 36 count vintage fawn by Lakeside, stitched with Silks for You red silk, and it's sort of their brighter red colors. Last time I had done part of this row, I had done half of this, and I had started, I think, over here. Well, I got back and I started working on these, they look like Scottish letters, but this is a Frisian sampler, so this is from the Netherlands. And you could see everything, these are very labor intensive, the letters, but I persevered and I really enjoyed working on them. They just take more time than you think. But when I got down here and I was working on this section on the other side of the bottom, that went really fast. And so then I was just really, kind of chugging away on this, and then pretty soon I'm stitching this, and before you know it, this was done. And I couldn't be happier. It is such a beautiful pattern, and I just love Jacob's designs. They're fantastic. So that is Frisian Sampler number 1. And my to be framed pile, it's huge. It's huge. The next one is, I'm working on BAPS, you guys. Like the big awesome projects, right? This is Live on Little. It's a Midwest Farm Girl Gatherings retreat exclusive. We got it last May. Paulette didn't list them in her market releases for Nashville, but I would expect watch for it around May. I'm not Paulette. I'm not promising anything for Paulette, but I think people have been really liking this one. So this is as far as I am. I worked since the last time. I had done part of a sail and the hull of this boat, and I just decided I was going to go over here and work, and I decided not to. Instead, I really finished this out, and this is about 6,000 stitches. No joke. This is like a Haid, but it's so fun. I did change something in here. I'm going to show you on the pattern that this is sort of an open and wide spot here. And my eye kept going to that, like, I want to put something there. I'm going to personalize this. There's also, you can't really see it on the chart, on the picture of the chart that well, but this is a star. And I just replicated the star, and downsized it a little bit and put my initial in the middle. I'm going to bring this closer so you can see it. And how much fun is that? And I love that mermaid. I started on the Big Beautiful Cape Cod house. My favorite are the flowers. My favorite things to stitch are flowers, so I've kind of left that for now. I'm going to work on this. I say that. I'm going to work on this, and I'm also going to work on finishing the roof line, coming over, and then doing the water on this side too. The water is not my favorite. That's why I'm doing it first, so that I just get that done. And there's so many things to like about this pattern, though. I can't tell you how much I've really enjoyed stitching on it. That Paulette, let's talk new market releases. They're gorgeous. They're gorgeous. I just, every single one is gorgeous. And it's got a big house, big brick house. I love it. Brenda Gervais too. They got my number. So many beautiful ones. Erica Michaels has one that I want. There's some I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen Beth Twist's yet. I'm sure I'll want some of hers. if not all of them. And I think I've seen one. Oh, there's a few. There's several that I want this time. All right. And the last one I've been working on is, okay, this is from European Reproduction Samplers website, Sabina Terrera. I can't remember her last name. Sabina Terrera. Oh, Gundacher. She is, it's, I think the address is, I'll link it below here, but it is like berlinsampler.com or something like that. Gorgeous, gorgeous patterns. So since the last time I stitched on this, I had finished, I think here, and I was starting these and this. So I have finished the wreath. I'm going to come to this side again. I've finished the wreath. I've started the little, the cornucopia that's on top of the wreath. Actually, I'm getting a little bit of a blowout here from my lighting. This might be better. And there's a bouquet of flowers on either side of that wreath. And I'm working on one. You can see it's got like a white rose and some red lilies. And this just continues on the way up. This is what I'm working on right now. This is a daylily. Isn't that amazing? And that cornucopia, this really goes pretty fast. So before you know it, I'll be about halfway done with this. Flosstube, you know, sorry. I'm stitching this on, this is 46 count parchment by weeks, which if you look at this, so what I'll say is that this sampler is high contrast. There's a lot of darks and lights in it. And the warm background makes it not stark. So sometimes a white background can make something feel a little bit chilly, a little cold. But if you put a cream or like a parchment, it can warm your piece right up. So I couldn't be happier with that fabric choice. Really love it. And then this one is 36 count hog bristle by Fox and Rabbit. And this is gorgeous fabric. I love working on this. Very easy to work on. And then this one was the Lakeside. So those are the 3 samplers that I've been working on. And so let me just show you a few things. Well, I'd like to show you maybe a little bit of haul, a little bit of plans. I'm going to show you some wool applique. And then Rachel from Needle and Flax. Gosh dang, I watch her video and she just starts showing samplers one after another. So I think sampler gazing is my calisthenics of a needle worker. Like I could spend hours, right? For people that could run for hours, I could spend hours gazing at sampler patterns and samplers. I really could. So we're going to get a little bit of a workout and look at just a montage, a potpourri of samplers, if you will. And maybe we'll talk about some things, ideas for stitching them. So first, let me tell you that I picked up some patterns. Of course I did, right? This is Goldbird Sampler by Twin Peak Primitives. Oh my stars. Are you dying? I saw this and I could not buy it fast enough. It is so pretty. It is so pretty. I have an inkling to just start this right away, but you know, I'm trying to be true to my plans. So I don't know if I'm going to make it, but this is gorgeous. The twins really did a beautiful job with that. And then I had a designer reach out to me. Her name is Jo. She's in the Alps in Europe. Jo Florence, and she asked if I would be interested in a pattern and if I would take a look at it. And I said, oh, sure I will. Yeah. So she has a blog, and I believe she sells her patterns through her blog. And it's very much in keeping with French samplers, which I have an affinity for. It reminds me of Gilles Leger in some respects. And the chart's pretty easy to read. It's done in relief. So I'm just going to show you a little bit where the background is not stitched, but it helps you see the letters, the stitched letters. And I'll show you what I mean. So this one is called Blue Roses Sampler. And it looks like it's stitched on maybe a natural linen or some sort of a neutral, maybe an R&R would be beautiful for this. It is, here I'm going to tip this a little bit this way so you can see it, but you see how the letters, which are so pretty. Oh my gosh, I love this. The letters are so delicate, and I think I'm going to have to start this one this year. It's very pretty. On the pattern itself, you see how the letters are highlighted, so you can see them more easily on the pattern. But this is gorgeous. So I'm going to link her blog below. Go check it out. She has another one, a rose band, I don't know if it's rose band or there's a rose sampler that's in pinks and reds, and that's going to jump on my shopping cart. I just thought I would mention her. She has some beautiful, beautiful pieces. So check her out. Now, what else came in the mail? This was an exclusive through Homespun Needlework's Facebook page. And this is Beth Twist's. This one is called Winter Comes. And I ordered it with the dark fabric because I really like the dark fabric. It was through Acorns and Threads. Acorns and Threads created the kits. They have the corner gauge. There's stickers in here. There's beautiful threads. This is a 32 count, which is fine with me. I like me a 32 count. And I do think I might do the big version because, that's, that's what I'm going to pick, but I'm probably going to do the big version. I might modify that a little bit in terms of what the saying says. It's so sweet. It's so Beth, and I love it. It has pine cones and stars or snowflakes, and there are candles glowing in the windows, smoke coming out of the chimneys. It's so endearing. I don't know if this is still available. You can go on the Acorns and Threads website and see if they have any more kits or not. But that came in the mail. And then as I was organizing my wool applique, I realized that one of the kits I bought at the Wool and Needle, I thought I had the book, but I didn't know. And I didn't want to buy the book again. So I waited until I got home. And then I forgot to check until I was looking through my wool applique patterns, and I realized I did not have the book. So I bought this one. This is Mary Blythe. I bought this off of Amazon, and there are some fantastic patterns in here. The pattern that I bought the book for, and the kit that I have is this one. Lori and I both bought this one from the Wool and Needle. It is big and beautiful, and it will fit on my oval table. My oval table that is a table we had as kids, that it's heavy and it's indestructible, but it's rather dated. It's from the 70s. And in my new house, I'm going to get a new dining room table. Just saying. So I bought this book for that. And while I was on Amazon, they give you hey, other people bought this. And I'm like, well, let me see what they bought. So this one is by Kathy Cardiff, and this is called Harvest Garden. Now, I don't know if Kathy Cardiff is from California. I think she might be, but she actually lives in Washington State as well. She's not too far from me. And I remember seeing this book, I think maybe on her website, and I didn't buy it at the time, but look at that. Isn't that adorable? I love that. She has some great stuff, some fun things in here. Zinnias. Yep. So that came to live at my home. And let me show you. Let's see. Well, first I want to show you a few St. Patrick's Day patterns that I have an idea of stitching. One is this Homespun Elegance. I would like to stitch this. Now, this is charted. It's with silks. I want to say it's like a Verissois or something. And there's like 20 of them. So no, I'm not going to do that. This is going to be a pick from my stash. It has a bunny pulling clover in a little wagon. It's really cute. And you open it up and it's a needle book and it looks like that on the inside. So that's a yes. I'm going to work on that. And then these Pineberry Lanes, and I have some ideas for finishing. I'm going to stitch all of these. I might just get a wild hair and do that like ASAP. I've got everything picked out to do it. So this one, I really love this one. I really love them all. And then the last one is this Brenda Gervais. Got it kitted, and I'm not a big hoop person, but I do have an idea for a finish on this, and I just love his little hat. So stinking cute. So that's on my sooner rather than later list. And let me just pause because I want to show you a couple things. One, I sent my quilts that I made Christmas before last, Christmas 2020, when I was at Lori's house for an extended period of time. And I actually hit the wall at one point and said, I can't stitch anymore. And I had stitched every day for hours at her house. And Lori said, I've never in my lifetime thought I would hear you say that. I'm like, I know, I need to do something different. So I sewed 2 quilts for 2 of my kids. I've taken those to the local quilt store that's about 10 minutes from me in Tenino, Washington. And it is Shiplap Quilts. They have a long arm service there. So I brought them down, and the owner, long armor, sent me some pictures with some ideas of the patterns that we might want. It's a repeat. These are utility quilts, so the kids will use these. I'm not going to hand quilt them. And I need to bind them. I need to put a foot pocket, and I think I'll talk about that in a video clip, but that's on my to-do list also. The guys are going to go ice fishing next weekend, and so I'm just going to send these with Todd, and they can get them. So that is exciting that that's getting done and out the door. I'm going to go ahead and put the video clip where I'll show you those quilts right here. Here's quilt number 1. This is for my second child. This is a quarter of the quilt. It is, I know, imagine this being 4 of these together. It is an offset 9-patch block. And what you do is you sew a 9-patch, and here's like 9 of these together. Then you cut it through the middle vertically and horizontally. So this here is 1/4 of the 9-patch block. And then you rearrange them to get this sort of offset pattern. And I just love it. This is a fun colorway, different than what I normally do because I like flowers and reds and pinks and, blues. This is, in fact, my third child wanted this one. This was the fabric that they picked out. And from there, I picked a whole bunch of more fabrics, and then I made 2 quilts. I have enough to make probably a 3rd quilt. I love the quilting on this. This is by Shiplap Quilts in Tenino, Washington. She did bubbles. She sent me some different choices. I had dropped the quilt off. She sent me some options, and I really liked the bubbles on here. It echoes what's on this fabric. And then the backing on this one is a batik that's a really fun, sort of a floral batik that goes with it. So this is quilt number 1, and that's a quarter of it. Now, I'll show you this one. Hopefully I can make this one, I can show you the whole thing. Okay, so this is quilt number 2. Same color, same fabrics. And it's just a running, I just made strips and I sewed strips together. Same thing. It's this really long, fun, in fact, Lori and I went into the stitching post in, you see that bubble fabric in Sisters, Oregon, and I saw one of these hanging up. I thought, this is what I'm going to do with one of the quilts. And you can see the fun, some of them are batiks, some of them are just prints. That's a fun one there. And this one, she also did a bubble pattern for me, but they're smaller, and it's just a little bit different print, but it's all bubbles. And the back of this is a batik. So this was fun, and I was so excited to find out that Shiplap does quilting. I don't know if they do mail-in quilting or if you're local and you take your quilts down there. They were pretty reasonable. I was thinking about quilting it myself, but I don't have a mid-arm or a long arm, and then you're fighting with so much, because these are pretty good size quilts, there's just a lot of material to try and get in through the throat of your machine. So that was fun. I'm going to bind these this weekend. I'm going to work on the binding. Next weekend, they're all getting together to go ice fishing, so I want to send these to them. And then they also requested, what I did with my husband's quilt is I put a foot pocket. a flannel foot pocket at the bottom of one end. Probably like on this one, it'll be on this end. And basically you take about a yard, probably a fabric, and fold it, turn the edges under, and then just sew it in a, 3 sides closed, and then the top, you can slip your feet in there. They just love that. So that was by request, and I'm sure I'll accommodate them. So those are the quilts. So those are fun. They're really fun. And it's not what I normally sew for myself. So it was even more fun because I picked a whole different color palette based on the pattern, the quilt fabric that my third son picked out. Anyway, sewing, I've got bags to make, I've got stuff to do. Oh, let me pause this and I'm going to show you next some wool applique kits that are hot on my needle, ready to go. Hold on. All right. I was just on a treasure hunt. I'm telling you, I was really excited when I saw my wool applique projects, and I knew that I needed to make some time for these. And I have several that are springish. And so let me show you those. This is from the Wool & Needle. This is a kit that comes with, it's so much easier to, kits are so much easier with wool applique because finding the right color of wool that's the right size, you don't need too much, too little, it is just so much more convenient to buy the kit, in my opinion. But here is the colors that are in this particular sweet spring, like the pussy willows, the tulips, the little chick, so cute. And here are the threads that go with these. So here's another thing that I picked up, and I was super excited when I saw this, and here's why. I bought this train case. This I bought from, I think it's called, I don't know. I want to put the name here because I'm going to completely botch it. Sue Spargo, who is a famous embroideress, if you will, wool appliquer, embroidery. She's amazing. She's an author. I saw her with one of these on one of her Instagram posts. I'm like, what is that? I zoomed in. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need one of these. And hers was a light pink, but I went onto this site and I saw they have a sage green, they have a blue, they have the pink. This is maroon. And it reminds me of my mom's makeup case in her luggage set when I was a kid. She had a purple luggage set. But this is all suede on the inside, and this is really a little promo card about the train case. It has magnets. This whole thing is magnetized. It has a pull-out tray, and you have a couple different types of handles you can put on. I put these on, these leather ones, and there's also like a shoulder strap. So what I found with wool applique is that there are 5 million little pieces. There are. You have to have them in a bag, or you're just going to find them on the floor, and you're going to like, where does this go? I have no idea. Is this a leg of a dog? Is it a branch of a tree? You do not know. So this is for my wool applique, and I am super excited to work on it, on my wool applique, and put it in here and have a place for my projects that I'm working on. So that, and it was reasonable. It was like, it's less than $100. It's a sturdy, like this is a piece of luggage. It's nice, really, really nice. The brand name is Della, D-E-L-L-A, and then the letter Q, Della Q. So you could just Google that. I'm sure you'll find lots of shops selling those. They look like they're probably pretty popular. Now, more wool applique. Here is also from the Wool & Needle. This is called Flower Patch Bunnies. Now, what I like about this, and I believe I saw the model at the shop, is that this is a very sort of soft and natural palette. And there is a bit of embroidery around it too. So it really gives it a quaint spring look about it. Here are the colors. This is the bunnies. And here are, I think this is just, must be the backing. Here's the background fabric. And look at the little roses are made out of these. The bunnies are are stitched on with this really pretty chocolatey brown. That might be the first one I work on. I'm not sure. Also, I bought this one at Buttermilk Basin. When we were there, we were at Michelle's house for something. I can't remember. We went to Buttermilk Basin, but this is called Sweet and Simple Pomegranate. And I mean, this is pretty simple. Here are the fabrics, the wools. And man, again, why have I not done this? It's really just sitting down. You can do it when you watch TV too. Tracing and cutting them out. That's all it is, and stitching it down. Super easy. I bought this when I think my husband and I took a trip around the peninsula in the Olympic Forest in Washington, and we were north at Port Orchard. Port Orchard, is that right? Port Townsend, Port Orchard? I don't know, one of the ports. There was a fabric store there, and I said, we need to stop here. And I bought this. I thought this was adorable. These chicks are so stinking cute. And these are the fabrics that come with it. So some of these are more like felt. Some kits, and some are felted wool and some are wool felt. And I think this is wool felt. I'm not sure though. I'm not an applique expert. There's that. And then this last one I want to show you. I picked this up at Country Cottage Quilts in Des Moines, Washington. That's an adorable shop. This is called Patiently Waiting by Primitive Gatherings. And so look at, isn't that sweet? That nest, the bird nest in the middle of the tree. I love this. So this is, where's the rest of, oh, that's where that went. Okay. I matched my missing fabric with the wrong pattern. I was like, why do I have all this extra fabric? Okay, that's why. I don't have the other pack of fabric. Anyway, this is the background. Here's the background. It's a pretty stripe. And then this one takes a lot of different threads. So Valdani threads are kind of spendy, but it's easier to buy them all at once than it is to try and piecemeal them later. So again, if I can, I kit it up because I just don't want to have to try and find that stuff. I probably could get that through Valdani, through Country Carriage Quilts. They're at least an hour away, depends on traffic, because you have to go north, the dreaded north, up towards Seattle, and you just never know what traffic's going to do. So that one is also on my list. So what do I have? Well, these are all spring, right? I have 1, 2, 3. There's 4 wool applique projects and 10 cross stitch patterns to do really by the end of April, right? Seems very like reasonable goals. That is the mind of Lisa Smith. What I think I can do and what I can really do not always match. The last one I'm going to show you is this one. I love this. I love, love, love this. Here's the flower. Isn't that gorgeous? Now, this is not a kit. I didn't buy it as a kit. This is from 2006 McCall's Quilting. And I do like that quilt on the front there too. But really, this is not going to be too difficult. I did find the black. I think it's wool. I did buy a big piece of black wool somewhere along the way in my journey. And I have a variety of different wools to use, and I will just choose what I feel like stitching with when I get to that. I haven't bought the green. I need to buy some greens. I probably should make a trip up to Country Quilts. I don't know. It's up by Seattle. Now, let's do a little sampler pattern gazing. Hold please while I set the stage. I'll be right back. Okay. The most overused word in the English language. Okay. Anyhow, so I did pick out just a handful of what I would call miscellaneous charts. So this is my stash behind me of cross stitch. Pretty much just cross stitch, except those are Blackbird design quilt books. This goes down quite a bit farther, and I mostly have my patterns organized by designer, and I have like a bookmark in the beginning of whatever bin that is full of patterns. And occasionally I get lazy, and in the miscellaneous section, if I get something in the mail, I just throw it in miscellaneous, and then later I go through that and refile, because, you know, I do enough of that stuff for work. I don't need to do it in my spare time. But so I grabbed the miscellaneous category because I have seen a lot of parades recently, which I love. Don't get me wrong, I do love parades. But sometimes you get one-off things, or maybe a designer is just not as prolific. Or I buy them off of eBay or Stash and Load or somewhere, right? And I do enjoy them. So I've just pulled from my miscellaneous stash. So let's talk about some of these. This is Samplers Revisited, Elizabeth Young. I'm not going to take these out of, it's got a little bit of a glare, but you can see the basic of this. But do you think I do love a red brick house? Yes. And I love bouquets of flowers. Those are gorgeous. Super pretty. There's like 12 acres of grass though, so I don't know when I'm going to get to that one. This is Summer House Stitchworks. I love her stuff. I need more of her stuff. I need some of her fragments in time. I did stitch this. It's currently on the piece of fabric where I have a long dog started on the other side, so I don't know when I'm going to get to finishing it. I'm not sure if I'm going to make a little, I might just buy a frame online and frame it myself. But this one, I bought some Lucky Penny, R&R Lucky Penny, and I have some red silk that I'm going to stitch this on. And I do want to buy I think this is a Lone Elm box. That's in my stitchy wish list. This is Sarah Stewart by the Scarlet Letter. And again, a nice big pink house with lots of flowers around it. I think this is a hand-drawn pattern. Oh yeah. Hand-drawn, and it'll be shredded by the time I'm done. So I have yet to figure out the best way to even make a working copy of this. And I think I might see if I can talk someone who makes blueprints for houses into copying this. I'm not sure if that service is available. If you guys have an idea on that, or you can give me some advice, I'm really interested in what you have to say. But that one's really beautiful. And this is like, these are going to be all over the board. You're going to see a variety of samplers today, but honestly, that's the way I stitch, right? Double Dutch Sampler Cove. Look at that beauty. That is gorgeous. When this came out, I could not buy this fast enough. I really couldn't. And then, of course, I put it in my stash and I didn't stitch it. I want to say Letitia, the crafty curator, stitched this or started it, or I'm not sure. She bought this though, about the time I bought it. And then Lucy Beam, Maria Casson, 1822. I really like this one. What I love is that, doesn't that look like a peppermint candy? But it's not. It's just a big, beautiful flower. And it looks great on that hand-dyed linen. Becky did a great job of matching the linen on that one. This is a Female Worth, and I think McKenna from Stitch and Sequins is reproducing a Female Worth patterns now. This one is called Susan Mix Reproduction Sampler, and it has, look at that border. Now it's a honeysuckle, but it's so small on the picture it's hard to see that it is, but it has a saying that I can't even read on the picture. I'd have to take it out and look at it. So another video for that. There are some designers who do a lot of original work and occasionally do a reproduction, like Brenda Gervais, like Beth Twist, like Little House Needleworks. And I don't know if this is a reproduction. I think it is inspired by a reproduction. But this is called Elizabeth Hancock Sampler. My sister borrowed this and stitched this pattern, and it is beautiful. She stitched it on Lakeside Tundra, and it is gorgeous. Those whites just pop on it. But when you think of Little House Needleworks, like reproductions isn't the first thing that comes to my mind. Usually I think of series. They do a lot of series and things that go together. This is really just beautiful. Milady's Needle, M. Woods, 1759. I love me a cartouche and a little bit of blue in the pattern. Oh, so I think I'm imagining my new house, right? And I'm thinking, how am I going to put samplers in my house? And I don't know, you know, I like other artwork too, so I have to find the right balance. And I have some blue samplers or samplers that have been stitched on blue fabric. And I think I'm going to cluster them together, maybe in a spare bedroom that is predominantly blue, and you will see like a blue sampler wall. Because I love blue. I do love blue. I love red too. Red's probably my very favorite, but blue's very close second. Which is why I love patriotic stitching, right? This one is one you don't see every day. This is Permanent of Copenhagen, and I don't know that they, Sampler 1854. I don't know that they name theirs. I don't know if I could do another alphabet, though, with those letters. You'd probably have to shoot me. It's beautiful, though. This one I bought at Needleworker's Delight. Is that what it's called in New Jersey? And I've seen this one stitched up. This one is so pretty stitched up. It is very pretty. It looks a little crazy with this bird. That is a crazy bird. But when you see this one stitched up, it's very pretty. So that one caught my eye. My friend Deb, Canopied Stitcher on Instagram, she stitched this, and so I was looking on eBay for it, and I did find it eventually. This is the John Foster 1885 Sampler by Historic Stitches. This is on my short list. Why? Because it's red and green. It has a beehive on it. Elizabeth Haxton, 1866, the Marking Sampler. That one is really, that one would be fun. That just looks like fun stitching to me. I don't think there's anything specialty stitch-wise, but that one, very interesting. Not a lot of repeat, which I think keeps my interest in a sampler. Leah Gronow by Merry Wind Farm. Do you like this one too? Wouldn't that be pretty, stitched on straw by Weeks Dye Works? Yep. Here's another one of the Little House surprise ones. I think that it doesn't strike me that this is a Little House Needleworks kind of a design, but it's called the Beatitudes. Very sweet. I think I've seen this one stitched up. Very pretty. West Wind Cross Stitch Designs. Here is a Jane Austen quilt kit pattern. It's a Jane Austen pattern, and it's Good Apple Pies Sampler. No, that's not it. That was another one she stuck in there for me. This is called Good Apple Pie Sampler. What is that? Let me demystify this. Hold on just a second. This is, oh yeah, that was a bonus pattern she gave me. The name, I don't know the name of this one. But it is the famous verse from Pride and Prejudice. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. We need something stitched that's the opposite. It is a universal known fact that a woman a woman with a fortune is in need of a cabana boy. I don't know. And here's another, the Sampler Girl. She's got quite a few Jane Austen type patterns. This is In the Garden with Jane Austen, a stitching bag. Look at that. And here's a little gardener girl right here. This is the sweetest, the sweetest. I think she might have an Etsy shop, the Sampler Girl. She's still designing, so go forth and see if you can find that pattern. Keziah Campbell. This is by Needle Made Designs. When I was at the attic, I asked Carolyn, I'm like, can you help me find that one pattern that's not really a reproduction, but looks like a reproduction? I think it's a Scottish sampler. And she looked at me, she's like, oh, you're one of those people. I'm like, yeah, I'm one of those people. I could have looked it up. I was trying to find it and I couldn't. But I love this girl on here too. She's just hanging out there, flowers in hand, with her dog. This is Cozy Designs Quaker Sampler, and this is just part of it, I think. This is not the whole thing. Well, let me take that back. It might be the whole thing. Oh, it is. This is the whole thing. Let me show you. Oh my stars, right? This is a PDF that I got off of her Etsy store. And I don't know that there's a lot of colors in this one. It's in my very high-end Ziploc bag because, you know, I'm fancy that way. Yeah, this is 3 colors. DMC 838, 840, and 3777, which is terracotta and beige colors. But honestly, okay, this is going to be done in overdyes. And it's probably not going to be terracotta. It's probably going to be red. Let's be honest. And I think one of them, 838, will be like, oh, you know what my very favorite brown is Grapevine by Weeks. I love that color. So it might be Grapevine and maybe, oh, Chamomile by Gentle Arts. And maybe, it could be Red Rocks by Weeks, or it could be, what other red? It could be Lancaster Red. A little bit darker red, probably. And not a bright one. Lancaster's pretty bright. Elizabeth Seville, 1841 sampler by Fingerwork. This is Dames of the Needle. I think this is her design line. This is beautiful. I got this one from Country Sampler not that long ago. But, love that border. Here's another Jane Austen. This is also by the Sampler Girl, and this is On Travel with Jane Austen. For a fine Sunday in Bath empties every house of its inhabitants, and all the world appears on such an occasion to walk. They hastened away to Crescent to breathe the fresh air of better company. Oh, yeah. I'm not a big little person, but I do like a cute little sampler girl. And I like Paulette's people on her designs. Got this one at the attic. Biedermeier sampler. A bunch of our friends, we were going to stitch this and we never did. I don't know what, I got one of my threads. I think this calls for silks, and I didn't buy the silks. I had one, I think. This one is from GGR, had it on Our Sampler Years, the Facebook group Our Sampler Years, and you could buy it through her. The picture is not very good, but it has a windmill and it has a huge bouquet on a house, which is, I love that. And this looks like a little pear maybe, or apple or something. Oh, here's the pear. Here's the apple. Ooh, this would be good next to G. Leger. And look at those crowns. This is by Stuckmannstuscher. I don't know how you say it. I'll type it out on the screen for you. I took German 2 years in high school, but there's zero chance that I'm going to get that right. I'm not sure if that's available or she just had some overstock. I don't know how GGR had it, but she was selling a half dozen copies a while back. Now, this one, I would love to see this one stitched. This is Linda Danielson from Samplers Remember. This is called Village Square Sampler. Now, look at that bouquet right in the middle of a town. And this might be on my really short list. I keep looking at this one every time I just kind of, go through I do some sampler gazing, right? And I just think, man, I bet that's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Charged for DMC also. Very affordable. This is the Sampler Works Circle of Friends Sampler. You see a theme here? Might be some flowers and some patterns that I like. Flowers and houses. This is a different colorway though, right? This is a little bit more, it looks like it might have been charted from the front. If it's a reproduction, I'm not sure if it is. Jane Ballard. Carol Saltbox showed this on one of hers and she was hunting for it and I got it from a friend. I couldn't believe I found it because I think this is hard to find. Although someone recently may have picked a copy up from the attic. So if you're trying to find this, you might give the attic a call and see if they have any copies. Oh, this one's been on my mind. This is from the Sampler and it's called Sophia Alexander, 1800. It's mostly crosses, I think, but there's a lot of embroidery in that bouquet. But I'm telling you, look at that color palette. That is phenomenal. And I wonder how big this one is. Probably gigantic. I'm not going to take it apart. When I start this someday, I'll show you it. Oh, this one's also I've been on my mind. MMEW 1847 from the Windham Collection. That one has all the things going on. I wish these had bigger pictures, but this is, you know, a photograph. But look at all of the things on here. And cartouches and flowers aplenty. I have seen this one. This is Samplers and Such. Rebecca Dory is the designer. This is gorgeous. And I think I've seen this, like you can get this one on the secondary market. It might even still be available. I'm not sure. I have to take a look. Whoever I bought this from sent me a skein of silk, I think. That was nice of them. For sure. This, I don't know what that calls for. We shall see. Annie B's Folk Art, the Haynes Sampler. Isn't this beautiful? I like the balance of this one. And look at those people. After I got done saying I really like stitching people. Those are cute. So I'm not sure. This is probably unpopular, but really wonky, weird people where the woman has like one huge arm on one shriveled arm or she's, I don't know. Sure that I like that. It just depends. But sometimes they're just really, I'm like, why? I don't know if I want to look at that on my wall. It has to be a very compelling sampler for me to want to do that. And sometimes that will change it just because I can. So there's the hand sampler. This one came out a couple years ago at market. This one I think about often. Rachel Long, Needle Made Designs. I love her stuff. Needle Made Designs is a favorite of mine. And who doesn't love that border? How fun would that be to stitch them, you know? And those bouquets. Oh, love it. Frances Eden Sampler. Nothing but joy here. Nothing but joy. The colors of this are just phenomenal. So much fun. I think that they had reprinted this a couple times. I'm not sure if it's still available, but I got it from the attic when it was reprinted. So if you have interest, you know, email them, ask them. They may be able to get it reprinted too, if enough people are willing. This is Designs from Pamela. I've never heard of her. On Piece. I love the little river in this one. It's a little bit stark. It kind of looks like a winter sampler, but I do like the person fishing in that little river. That's some dense stitching though. Woo! And then another Fingerwork Designs. This one's Carnation Sampler. Isn't that sweet? I really like that one. I think that's the name of this video. I really like that one. You know when you go shopping through your stash and you're like, man, this is great stuff. Well, it's because it's the stuff that you like, right? We don't buy the things that we don't like. Mary Ann Frame from Sassafras Samplers. This is really pretty. Quite pretty. And it looks like this must be satin stitch on the bottom of those, of the berry bowls. I'm not sure how I feel about that. And So this is a different sampler, and I've thought a lot about this one recently. This is a Permanent Copenhagen. And it reminds, no, this is, it looks like a Marjolaine Bastain, but it's not. It's Permanent Copenhagen. And it might be that she designed it. It doesn't say that, but it reminds me of her. And I love the sort of simple lines for utilitarian type objects and the beautiful art that it can create. Really pretty. And two more. The Liza Hills Sampler, 1856. This is available through the attic, and it is so pretty. Look at how gorgeous those dark colors are. This is DMC also. Last one is RETM, a sampler for my mother. Very pretty. A lot of times the Quaker samplers are, they don't have the depth of color as this one does. If you see the thread selections there, really, really, really pretty. Well, what's going on coming up here? So I'm still working on my 10 brunettes and blondes. I'm going to be working on some wool applique. I have bags cut out for a couple bag sales. I'm going to try and cut out the rest of my bags for the whole rest of the year, for my bag sales, because my goal is to really continue to whittle down the things that are in my craft room and in my house so we can be ready to move next year. This year is flying by, and we realize we have got to get it into gear to be ready for this move. Things that we need to do at our house here, things that we need to do in our property down south, and we need to sell our house here before we can build down there. So I will see you probably in a couple weeks. Let's see. So that would be around the time market. Oh my gosh. My brain went bonkers when I saw that the new releases coming out. Craziness. But around probably market time. I might wait until after to do a video. We shall see. I hope you have a great day, and thanks for stopping by. Love seeing you guys. Take care.